Hello and welcome to the next part of the Dragon Ball Z Let's Play, Gohan vs Vegeta. Unfortunately I need to speed this up because there's a lot of things to cover in this video, so I'm going to speed up this match slightly. Hope that's okay. So anyway, now we're using one of the same characters we used before, Gohan, against a similar villain that we fought before, Vegeta, with Goku. Only this battle's a bit harder because Gohan is weaker than Goku, and his strategy is a bit more limited. So it'll take a little while longer to beat him. But it's still one of the more possible matches, and it's still quite easy. In fact, it's slightly easier than Gohan versus Nappa, and at this point you should have a few cards you can use to your advantage. But the best bet is to probably just keep using Dunk Shot and Kamehameha just to deal like basic amounts of damage, and keep using defensive cards now and again just to make sure that you can win easily enough. As you can see now, Vegeta dodged my avoiding card, so now he's got an advantage there. So the key to winning is by building up CC, using attacks at the right moment, and trying to surprise your enemies as much as possible. Because as much as this is about skill and luck, it's also about a form of psychological warfare in that you have to basically use attacks that your opponents aren't going to try and predict. So do things like charge up but then don't use any limit cards, or use a special attack, put a special attack in your deck and then use it at a random time, or just use an item card that you barely ever use. So for example, just put in a few healing cards, say, if you don't use them, or pick a character that you don't normally use, that kind of thing. You can come up with some especially good combos in the tag team mode as well. Try and surprise your enemy with a surprise character in the second slot. Apart from that, it's the basic premise of trying to get a good hand and then trying to outwit your opponent by using various attacks. In that case, Kibito blocked the destructor disc, so it saved my life. So as you can see, having a good defense makes you unbeatable basically. But of course, it takes a lot of practice trying to get the defensive things right, because you don't really want to be using avoiding and shockwave too much, because then you'll be using valuable CC which you could use for attacks. So in this case I win, and there's Vegeta's Gallic Gun card which costs 17 CC. Anyway, moving on with the story, Vegeta's injured and Krillin wants Vegeta to die. But Goku doesn't want Vegeta to die. Goku wants Vegeta to leave the planet. But anyway, before that happens, Gohan's tail grows. And because Gohan's got his tail, he looks in the orb in the sky, and now Gohan turns into a great ape, or an Uzaru. And Gohan beats up Vegeta. And the next thing Gohan knows is he wakes up and Chi-Chi's there. So Goku and his friends have arrived. They pick up Goku. Thankfully he's not in a critical state, but they have to take him to hospital because he's badly injured. In the meantime, they survived. But obviously the main problem now is that Piccolo's dead, so that the Dragon Balls have disappeared. But the idea is, if they go to the planet Namek, where Piccolo is from, they might be able to get some other Dragon Balls, and they can bring Piccolo back, and then Piccolo's Dragon Balls will return. Of course, the main problem with Piccolo dying is that Kami died as well. But thankfully Mr. Popo's there, and he shows them the way to the old Namekian spaceship that Piccolo arrived on. And in other news, King Kai is in charge of the Northern Galaxy, so he gives Goku and his friends some advice on finding Namek. Apparently finding Namek is tricky, and it takes 4,000 years to get there in a standard spaceship. But luckily, Bulma's father is a great scientist, so he devises a special spaceship that they use to travel. And Bulma's father also makes a special spaceship for Goku, which has a gravity device, so Goku can train in 100 times Earth's gravity. Anyway, moving on, this is story part number 5, into Namek. The Namek saga is one of the most popular sagas in Dragon Ball Z history. because it's got lots of characters, lots of transformations, lots of plot twists, and there's an epic struggle and an epic race for the Dragon Balls. In the meantime, Krillin and Gohan meet a boy called Dende. Dende has amazing healing powers, and he's one of the main characters of this part of the saga. He's not physically strong, but he's determined and he's very helpful with the heroes. He helps them a lot. Elsewhere on the planet Namek, we've got Frieza's forces called Dodoria and Zarbon, who get taken out by Vegeta reasonably early on. In this game you don't see them. And also you have these Namekian villages which have been destroyed. So Gohan is looking for the Dragon Ball, because obviously Frieza is looking for the Dragon Balls, and if Frieza gets all 7 Dragon Balls, then he'll be able to wish for immortality, which would be bad for the heroes. And Vegeta also wants immortality. So it's a bit of a tricky situation there. Anyway, Gohan and Krillin make friends with Nail, who's Dende's protector, and they also meet this Namekian called Guru. Guru's the father of all the Nameks, and he's the main guy in charge of the Dragon Balls there. Guru is also one of the more funny characters in the Team 4-star Dragon Ball Z Abridged, where his main catchphrase is Nail's name. Guru unlocks the power of Krillin and Gohan, making them stronger than they ever were before, unleashing their hidden potential. In the meantime, Vegeta heads over there as well, and then all hell breaks loose. As you can imagine, Vegeta is not always considered to be a team player. One thing you'll notice about Namek is that the sea is green and the land is blue. This is in contrast with Earth, where the sea is blue and the Earth is green. And there's also interesting trees and sea life, some of which attempts to eat Bulma. Unfortunately, Nail can't really do much at the moment because he's guarding Guru. Anyway, there's this big force coming to the planet. It's not Goku, it's Ginyu's Special Forces. And Ginyu's Special Forces are the main antagonists in the Namek saga, besides Frieza. So they want to get the Dragon Balls, return them to Frieza, and destroy all of Frieza's enemies. And they also want to bring some scouters for Frieza as well, because Vegeta destroyed them all, which is one of the reasons the Ginyu Force was summoned. A funny fact about the Ginyu Force is that each member is named after a particular type of dairy product, such as milk, cream, or yogurt. Anyway, here we have the Ginyu Force. Recoome, Jace, Berta, Guldo, and Captain Ginyu himself. Ginyu's Special Forces. Loosely based on the Power Rangers, as you can tell by the different body colours. Anyway, this doesn't please Vegeta one bit, and Ginyu takes the Dragon Balls and he delivers them to Frieza personally. And he says that the other Ginyu Force members have to use rock, paper, scissors to determine who fights who. And Guldo wins, so Guldo has to fight against Krillin or Gohan. At this point in the story you can choose which character you're going to pick. So I'm going to pick Krillin. I'll show you some of his moves. He's got the Solar Flare or Taioken. He's also got Super Destructor Disc, Mystic High Wave. And that's it for this video. Stay tuned for the next part.